Hi everyone, Zach from Out There Vans in Grand Junction, Colorado. Behind me I have a Ram Promaster van, and today we're going to be talking about options that we recommend, making sure that you take into consideration when buying a van off a lot or selecting boxes and physically ordering one of these vans from Ram. Let's jump right into it. So the main reason for making this video is there are tons of options that we are able to go in on the back end as upfitters when we are doing a custom van conversion and install in the aftermarket. However, more often than not, most of these options are far cheaper to go ahead and get installed on your van at the factory before we jump in and start doing your interior finishing kit. So we're going to just hammer through a few of these, start on the exterior, we'll move to the interior. So as I mentioned, starting out on the exterior, let's talk about windows, the sliding door and driver's side door. If you do intend to have a window up in this space up here, the forward windows, we do recommend, if you want a fixed window, jump right into the factory, select that box, make sure you have a factory fixed window. It's going to save you a lot of money down the line. It's easy for us to install these, but they are cheaper from the factory. However, if you're looking to have a T-vent window installed or some sort of venting window, there are no options from the factory on those. We recommend you opt not for windows and have a panel side van, as it's easier for us to go in and cut a fresh hole, seal it out, and install a window than to remove a window, do all of the cleanup for us to then go ahead and slap another window on that van. So that goes for the passenger and the driver's side. Coming around to the rear of the van, this van is a complete cargo van, so it does not have any rear windows currently. Rear windows are another must from the factory if you are considering having rear windows. Again, we're going to install rear windows in this van. Unfortunately, the lot I was purchasing a van from did not have any of these options. All right, another item to look at is hanging around back here, and it is your trailer towing package. Be sure to equip your van with a trailer towing package from the factory if you intend on doing much towing with your van or equipping a bike rack into a hitch in the back. Again, something we can easily add in the aftermarket, but it is most cost effective from the factory. A little disclaimer to that, adding a conversion into a van adds a ton of weight, so do make sure your van is weighed and you have an understanding of the constraints of what your platform can handle before doing any heavy towing with the fully converted camper van. All right, another one is going to be color. This van is ceramic gray. Love this color. We have had requests in the past to have camper vans wrapped before they get delivered, as our customers weren't necessarily happy with the color of van that they purchased. That's a big one that I recommend, just making sure you spend the money right away and get the right color of your van. Wraps are expensive, and another consideration is the exterior color of your van will be seen on the interior. So for instance, if I open up this front door, same thing goes for all the back doors, we do have painted surface on the interior of the van that will always be visible of my exterior color. So if you choose a bright red van and intend to have a nice white interior or something subtle, keep in mind you're going to have nice red accents going with it. So that's also something to really consider when thinking about the overall exterior color of your van. Another one is full-size spare tire. Vans and vehicles in general are becoming more commonly equipped with compact spare tires or donuts. It's worth just opting for that full-size spare tire from the factory. Again, something that can be swapped down the road, but you don't want to be stuck out on a Forest Service road and be trying to ride a donut out of there. Another exterior item that is a must to consider is sticking to small exterior mirrors. There is an option for extra wide exterior mirrors, which stick out another 3 or 4 inches on either side. These are great if you are towing with your van. However, your van, which is already humongously wide, becomes a little bit harder to navigate down those narrow Forest Service roads or trailhead parking where space is limited. These mirrors already are humongous. They have an upper and a lower panel to them, and really they do the job quite well. So I don't recommend going with those wider mirrors unless it is a must with your towing setup. Last thing to look at on the exterior is parking sensors. You can opt for 4 rear bumper mounted parking sensors in the back here. However, if you do plan on putting a bike rack on here, or a rear mounted storage or ladder, that may be picked up by your parking sensors. And unfortunately, in the Ram Promaster, there is no way to turn those parking sensors off. So the moment you put it in reverse with a bike rack on here, all you are hearing is that wonderful beep forever. Thankfully, these vans come standard with a top-mounted backup camera and an optional 360-degree camera, which I love, but is not necessary. That backup camera takes care of every little bit that you possibly need. All right, let's jump on into the interior. Let's talk about swivel seats. This van is not equipped with swivel seats from the factory, and that is for a great reason. The Ram Promaster swivel seats use a completely different base. You'll notice in the Mercedes Sprinter and Ford Transit platform, it is just a different seat mount that retains the same seat height, and we can still fit items for storage underneath. Ram Promaster, however, totally different base. It brings the pivot down into this lower area down here, meaning if you intend on equipping a parking heater underneath these seats, you can no longer do that if you have the factory swivel seats. They cost about the same to upfit in the aftermarket as they do from the factory for a nice crash-tested swivel seat base. So I recommend keeping that option open to be able to equip a heater under that passenger seat, because it does add a little bit of complexity to find a spot that you really can locate it underneath some cabinetry under the back. Another item electronically that I want to talk about is the Upfitter Prep Package, which allows some extra connectors down in these pillars over here, as well as some other switches on the left of the driver's area up here. That is completely not necessary for the conversions out their vans. We do not tap into any factory harnesses up front. That is an expensive option that is completely unnecessary for a van conversion from out their vans. In the RV prep package, there is one option that you can select separately, which is the 220 amp alternator. It's just a heavier duty alternator. It allows us to upfit a heavier duty DC to DC charger, meaning as your van is running, it will also charge your house batteries for your back power. There is a little bit of wiggle room from the factory alternator that we can still equip one of those. However, we can give you a lot more power output out of that with that extra juice. And we mentioned our smaller mirrors on the sides. Another thing I want to mention is your rear view mirror. Ram does have an option for a digital rear view mirror, whether you have windows or not, where you can have a digital display in this upper section that broadcasts a camera view from your rear doors back here, up here. This is an amazing feature. Even if I do install windows back here, which I will, my bed platform is still going to come up to about right here. Then I add in my mattress, my blankets. I'm really only seeing a half view out of these rear windows, and it's quite far back here. So I do recommend equipping that rear view camera mirror. It's a nice feature to just add some extra safety and visibility for your van. If not, as long as you have those windows equipped in those rear doors, you will actually get a standard mirror up here in the front. Below that, we do have the standard infotainment down below. It's a nice, reasonably sized touchscreen with nice feedback. I find the standard screen does the job in this. As you can see, my Apple CarPlay just pulled up. It does have wireless Apple CarPlay or wireless Android Auto, even with these smaller screens. I have owned the larger, now I'm going to say 10.1 roughly inch screen, which is kind of like an iPad sitting in the center of your van. That's a nice screen to have too. Ultimately, it does everything that this screen does, just a little bit larger. It does have built-in navigation, but if you are like me, I personally am going to use my phone like Waze or Google Maps for just about all my traveling. And I don't usually like how a factory navigation ages. So if it's just me, I'm going to opt for the smaller infotainment screen, use my wireless Apple CarPlay, and not mess with the navigation that will age over time. All right, lastly for the interior, let's talk about this light right here. This is a completely unnecessary option. Couple $100 to equip some factory lighting in the back. It's motion censored. But here's the thing. The moment I start converting the back of this van, that thing is going to get ripped out, and it is basically worthless at that point. Same thing goes for if you opt for any grab handles in the back, especially on these rear doors. They sit exactly where your bed platform is going to sit. So opting for no special upfitting in the back, and that goes for lighting, panels, you name it. And the last thing we need to do is rip out dollar signs just to put more dollar signs in the back. That's my quick take on options I recommend taking a closer look at on the Ram Promaster when you are upfitting your van. Again, these are all personal preferences depending on if you do want windows, if you do want swivel seats. Nothing is absolutely necessary, and we can equip a completely bare bones van, but just some chances to potentially save you some dollar signs down the road and get you pointed in the right direction in your search for your van platform. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section down below. We'd love it if you like this video, hit subscribe to see other videos, walk arounds of vans, projects, products coming out of the workshop here at Out There Vans, and we really hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.